Did you go to see Anxious?
Yeah, I did.
How were they?
They were really incredible.
Because I saw the 30-second video that Lauren posted, and they sounded great in that with like people diving on them, which ruled.
Yeah, there was an enormous pileup during the last song. It was absolutely mental. I kind of forgot that like they're not a hardcore band anymore necessarily, but they're also still not a hardcore band.
Yeah, well, it's like the pop punk in the early 2010s, where it's like everybody who listens to it and was making it also just like came out of the hardcore scene, so all the shows just felt like hardcore shows.
Exactly, yeah. Like watching the way that the younger folks behaved at this show was like when I saw the Wonder Years for the first time, basically.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, I feel like, obviously the Wonder Years taking them out on tour is an endorsement as well, but it feels like
Totally.
They're taking up that sort of attitude and space in the scene of the shows are a little crazy and really fun, and it's a lot of like, everyone can sing along and jump on the mic and stuff.
Yeah, there was somebody like trying to jump on the mic when I don't remember the lead singer's name, but like clearly did not want that. Like just kind of like kept holding the mic a little bit out of his reach. And I was like, man, like please read the room, my dude. Just dive off the stage. It's okay.
Welcome to Noise Floor, a podcast about music through the lens of our favorite artists' discographies. I'm Troy Sennett.
And I'm Matt Kistler.
And today we're talking about the fifth album by Rise Against, Appeal to Reason. This album came out on October 7th, 2008, on DGC, Geffen, Interscope, conglomerate of large company records. And it's got some familiar... Some familiar names in the credits. They went back to the same team that did Suffer and the Witness, produced by Bill Stevenson and Jason Livermore, mixed by Chris Lord-Alge, and mastered by Ted Jensen. I think that is a good choice to it worked and keep doing it. This is the album that I was probably most excited to talk about from like a podcasting perspective. I like other Rise Against albums more than this, but when we started this series, this was the one that I teased as like kind of my reclamation project. So it is an album that I think was not well received when it came out, but then maybe at least by fans, but then also sort of catapulted them to their biggest level of stardom that they've ever had. And so it's kind of I think it is weirdly remembered maybe. And I have it is grown on me personally a lot over the years. Though I still have some major issues with it. But Matt, give me your take on this album. How did you feel about it when it came out, and how do you feel about it now?
I did not like this album when it came out at all. I shouldn't say at all. I liked some songs on this record, but I will say that like this is the start of me listening to Rise Against albums once or twice, and then maybe just kind of moving on. This will be a theme maybe going forward until a certain point in the discography that we'll get to several weeks from now. Like I definitely loved some songs on here straight up. Like big standouts for me, I remember early on. Like I liked Re-Education Through Labor. I like Hero of War for very different reasons than I like Swing Life Away, but those two always get kind of lumped together as the Rise Against acoustic songs. Savior, for all the gripes I've already had about it on this show, is also a good song. But I remember Big Time Entertainment was the one that stood out to me back in the day, and it still does now. We'll get to that later on. But yeah, I remember being pretty cool on this one, and I remember not being able to articulate why. Like this is a thing that I'm like kind of trying to trace as we go through the discography here, because like, but by and large, like I still think this is I shouldn't say I still, because I didn't feel that way back in the day, but I now feel like this is a pretty solid album overall. But it does feel like it really marks a turning point in Rise Against songwriting towards something that I maybe like less. But we won't get to quite that point for another couple albums. But yeah, I don't know. We talked about this a little bit in advance, but there's some sequencing stuff on this record that maybe isn't amazing, but like, overall it's pretty solid. I think it has grown on me, revisiting it in this context. I kind of really didn't give it too many second chances over the course of the last it's almost 20 years now. Yikes.
It's I guess 17 years.
17 years is a long time.
No, I think we should run with what you bring up with it as a turning point, because I think it is both internally to the band and externally, like what is going on around them in the scene and stuff like that at this point is like it is a turning point. I mean, you're pretty much at the halfway point in their career, retroactively now, but they obviously they don't know that at the time, but like this is the first album featuring guitarist Zach Blair, who joined the band during the Suffer and the Witness tour. Who in the Another Station, Another Mile DVD has some fun stories about like he was working construction and like covered in paint at Home Depot or whatever when he was when Brandon Barnes called him and asked him to join the band. But so it's his first album with the band, and I think he sets out to make an impression with his playing, and I think he does. It doesn't. This is a sort of different style of guitar playing, or lead guitar lines especially, than are on any other Rise Against album.
Yes.
But the other thing is that like I was thinking about this, and like this is their fifth album. This is one of the things that I think is most interesting to me about this record. This is it's their fifth album. They're on like during this like album cycle, they do their big 10-year anniversary show at the Metro, which is a pretty like important moment in their career. And it's also they're about the age that I am right now while they're making this record, which I think is when is really, I mean, the early 30s, and you really are like, okay, this is my career and I'm doing it at this point, right? So like, I think one of the things that I think they're exploring on this record is like, how do we make this band sustainable long term? Like, how do we now have to make music that tens of thousands of people want to sing along to every night? Like, it's our job. We have families. Like, and I think there's an element of that, and sometimes they stretch a little bit too far to try to get to that. And I think that's one of the things I bump up against on this album, and I think a lot of people do, or at least a lot of like older Rise Against fans do. But the other thing then externally is that like, if you're 5 albums deep into a career at this point, like especially now and maybe even kind of then, you're almost like a legacy band already, Yeah. And so like in 2009 is when I think of the anniversary tour craze starting, because that's when Jimmy Eat World does their Clarity 10-year tour, which is, to me, like that's when it starts. After that, everybody has to do anniversary tours. It just is a matter of when your album hit 10 years, then you would do them. And so like, I think that there's already this point in like the scene and in the industry where Rise Against has started to become like not to say that they're a classic rock band already, but like they are not the new young Guns anymore. There's a whole new wave of punk and pop punk that's coming up sort of underneath them. Some bands that they sort of shepherded and guided and had open for them, and other, we look at more like the Wonder Years, Fireworks, the hardcore scene and stuff like that turned into pop punk that got so big is like, it's the next wave, and I think that we'll catch they'll catch some of those bands and bring them up with them as well. But like I don't know, I feel like this is the point of Rise Against turning into it truly is like a different era of their career that starts at this album. Yeah, that was a lot of things to say about this.
No, it totally makes sense. We are, to your point, like we kind of talked about this a little bit. We've talked about this a little bit with kind of, I think, every band we've covered, where you hit a point in your career where you either have to have established something that hundreds of thousands of people like, assuming you're at the point where you're making this your career, like that's kind of That's kind of a given for this band at this point, and many of the bands that we've covered. You either have to be at the point where like that's just going to continue making you more fans and gaining you momentum, or you have to take a swing for something else. And I think this is, in a way, Rise Against trying to balance those two a little bit. But yeah, like this is, we'll get into specifics about this, but there are some songs on this record that I directly compare to some of Rise Against's peers in the scene, which is not something I've felt necessary to do in not even, I don't want to say necessary, but like that's not something that I've noticed when listening to Rise Against previously. Like not that they're like aping a sound or anything, but like I hear the instrumental part and I'm like, oh, this kind of sounds like this band. And like it still has the Rise Against twist on it, and like we're gonna talk about a couple of covers later on too, and we've talked about many so far, most in like kind of squarely the hardcore realm. But yeah, I think they really, to your point, are trying to figure out like, okay, like yeah, how do we make this sustainable? How do we be bigger than ever, but still, you know, maintain what makes us us? And in Rise Against case, it is, you know, being about causes that they care about, showing the world for what it is in many ways, while still like kind of maintaining a sense of hope that we can make it better. Which to that end, I think they accomplish that by and large. It's just some of the ways in which they accomplish it I don't vibe with as hard as I did previously.
Yeah, I totally agree. You could never say that they strayed from their convictions. At least, you know, I mean, not speaking to them personally, they seem like nice, honest, earnest people. But like, you know, musically, lyrically, what Tim is writing about, like, has not changed. And I think that's what they kind of see as the point of their band, is to get their you know, the issues they care about in front of as many people as possible. And so I think in that sense, they consider this a success. But what I kind of wanted to zero in on with sort of your reaction to the album as when it came out is, do you find any of this album insincere, or you just kind of just don't like the directions that they take and you think they liked them? Or is it you think that they are kind of trying to do something that they're not actually all that into, just to you know, to be poppier or whatever it is?
I think it's a for my taste type thing, less so than an authenticity thing. Like, I do think that a band like this, especially a band getting as big as they are at this point, who has already like written some of the like catchiest songs in their career. Like, I was, when I was, you know, kind of reading some background on this album, I think the Wikipedia article on this record is like, yeah, this represents a turn into melodic hardcore. I'm like, what are you talking about? This band has always been melodic hardcore. Yeah, this is the thing that I've kind of struggled with, is like stamping down like exactly what it is that like made me go, I don't know. Because yeah, I don't think there's any inauthenticity here. There's some like, you know, speculative stuff about like post-collapse, you know, society on this record that like isn't unfamiliar territory for them. But like that's explored in like songs like Collapse, and songs like The Dirt Whispered a little bit. And I don't think that any of that rings inauthentic either. Like, I think that is a thing that they are trying to warn against and have been trying to warn against their entire career. I think the kind of like unifying thing for me is that it feels like some of the rougher edges of Rise Against are getting sanded off, and maybe they got sanded off a little too far. That's not a great metaphor, but like I feel like that's kind of the overall feeling that I get. And again, like, it's not that like the songs aren't necessarily well crafted. It's just it's starting to head in a direction that is less in the camp of what I loved about this band, you know, musically speaking, at least.
I think that's right on. And like I remember feeling kind of the same way about the album when it came out. The thing that I think is so funny is that we both have, I think we both have, without like naming the songs that we like and don't like, we might have like an identical original review of this album, but based on what you were saying about the songs you liked, I think they're just totally opposite. Like,
dang.
and I like and have always liked Rise Against, the pop punk band, where Tim is doing more singing. I like the roughness of his voice when he sings no matter what, but like I have never been a fan of, like, a huge fan of Rise Against, the hardcore band, or like, and so I think that some of the like heavier riffing stuff that they do on this album is where I think it fails, because I think they've I don't want to say they've like run out of riffs or whatever, but like I think that like Re-Education Through Labor and Savior and a couple other songs on this album just sound they get too close to the like active rock, whatever. I'm not going to call it butt rock because it's not that. It's way more interesting than that.
I like active rock as a way of putting it.
That's like the radio term for it.
Yeah.
And so like, and I think, and whether that was an intentional play at trying to get on those radio stations or whatever, or if it's just what a band like that becomes as they get older, I don't know. But like, the songs that I like, I think The Dirt Whispered is like one of the best Rise Against songs. I love Kotov Syndrome. I love like Audience of One. I love the poppiest moments on this album is what I think works the best. And I don't know. I just think that's funny that we kind of seem to be both at the time, or at least pretty let down with how the direction that Rise Against was going, but we each like, it's like they went the two wrong directions at once.
Yeah, and like that's a thing that can happen at a transitional point in your career, and thankfully, unlike Rilo Kiley, they didn't break up after this. So
right, yeah, that's the thing is, yeah, you were talking about like all the bands we've covered have kind of reached this point, and yeah, Rilo Kiley's way of dealing with is just like, let's go make solo records and get back together 15 years later or whatever it's been. But yeah, I don't know. I think it is a much more interesting album to me now, certainly, than it was when I was 16 when it came out.
Yeah, like I genuinely am kind of at the point where I think the swings on this album are what make it good.
Yeah,
for sure. Like the kind of, I don't want to say safer, but like the more backing into like what they know, like is less interesting to me than it was back in the day.
Yeah, I also just think like the concepts and theme of the album are like probably just more appealing to me now than they were. Oh God, I shouldn't say appealing. On this album than they were when I was a kid, because like they talk about the title comes from this socialist newspaper that would in the early labor movement, which printed the initial version of The Jungle, which is like interesting thematic and like Chicago connections for them too, and it really encompasses all of their big animal rights issues, climate change issues, labor issues, which are like themes that run through this album. And I think that just the way that they present everything it's gotten more visceral, I think, even on this album, even than it was certainly on Siren Song, and maybe even more than on Sufferer. I don't know. Do you agree with that at all?
I think I see where you're coming from. Yeah. It's made especially apparent in their music videos, I think, from this period. Like the Re-Education Through Labor video, like you straight up learn through that one.
That is a history lesson, which we should talk about that kind of in line with the songs. We should just jump into the songs.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah. Before that though, we should talk about the album art.
Oh yeah. It's not good.
I've never liked it. It's just like it's just all these kind of random seeming collage of silhouettes of stuff on a yellow background, things like a chess piece and a dog and a guy in a gas mask and an airplane and a literal electric fetus. Shout out to a record store in Minneapolis. Weird album cover, and you showed me earlier this week that there is an original version of it when the album was first announced that only has the guy with the gas mask on it.
Yep.
And it looks really good.
Yeah, it's incredibly imbalanced, like from a like layout perspective. For those listening at home, just look up Rise Against Appeal to Reason original artwork. You'll find I think the only place this exists is a Punk News article. So it is quite literally just album title, the like kind of painted lines up top, the heart fist, the guy in the gas mask, and the dog. Like everything else is just the background. This looks like Banksy exploded on it.
Yeah.
I do wonder if that aesthetic is kind of what they were going for. But like, yeah, I like that original artwork a lot more. And I really don't know what they were going for here.
Yeah, I mean, I could argue that like the busyness of it is meant to represent like the overwhelming chaos of the world that they're talking about on this song on this album. But I don't know if I buy that. I think you should make your record look good.
I agree wholeheartedly.
But yeah.
one other touch point that we should just mention briefly. Most people probably know this, but with Zach Blair joining the band, like I do love that in the documentary they're like, yeah, we wanted Zach from Only Crime, leaving out the fact that Zach was in Gwar in the late 90s and early 2000s, which is like that tells you so much more about his guitar playing that like Only Crime rules. Everybody should listen to Only Crime. But like, yeah, dude was in Gwar, like, and that, you know, that metal background is very apparent in his guitar playing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, the album starts off with, Collapse Post America, which is in the tradition of a Rise Against album, is a fast, loud, abrasive maybe isn't the right word, but maybe certainly abrasive lyrically, just a big old protest song, basically. I think it's a really good start to the album. What do you think of this one?
I do think this is a strong opener. I don't think I wouldn't say it's among their best necessarily, but like it makes a strong statement. It's musically very tight. You kind of get a nice like taste of like what Zach is bringing to the band. I know I didn't get to read that whole interview with ultimateguitar.com, but like
really long.
Yeah, it was really long. But like I know a big part of it was like his thing here was like trying to balance who he is as a guitarist and a musician with like being the guitarist of Rise Against, a long since established band, which I know like Bill Stevenson like, you know, helped him out on a little bit. And I think like by and large like that it feels like we have a new guitarist this time, where I don't feel like it was as apparent in previous albums. Like it definitely like, you know, you could hear it in certain places, but I think it's the most pronounced on this shift, at least since RPM.
Well, yeah, you hear it from when Todd Money joins the band leading into RPM. I don't hear it really at all from him to Chris Chass, and I don't think that Chris Chass makes that much of an impression as a guitarist on either of the albums that he plays on, even though they're like, the guitars sound good, but he's not doing anything that makes me think like, oh, he's a great guitar player. Right. Whereas I think Zach does some stuff on this record that does stand out.
Definitely. But yeah, like, you know, lyrically we're really, really going hard in the paint on climate change and the effects that it will have at this point in our collective history that we are, you know, starting to see nowadays, 17 years later. And yeah, I don't know, like really catchy chorus with the rhyme, "This is not a test, this is cardiac arrest," which I'm a little on the fence about, but I think mostly it works and is fun.
It does. I enjoy
for
it.
Very loose definition of fun, to be clear.
No, the lyric that I really like in this record or in this song, in the second verse, is when he pulls in the sort of like Americana imagery of like, your home on the range has been torn down and paved, and the buffalo roam to a slaughterhouse grave. I think that is like a perfect summation of like all of their big ideas on this record, that like even the rugged individualist is gonna, you know, has to deal, who's out on the pioneer, the frontiersman is gonna have to deal with the effects of climate change, because we are all in this world together. And I think that's a it's a theme that I really like on the song and this album. And then of course it gets into the bridge. It gets into this idea of like violent resistance, again, more explicit than they were in the past, which I think, like, I don't know if Tim has just become more comfortable writing like that as a lyricist, but I think it makes these songs really hit.
Yeah, definitely. I that is the thing that I do like always appreciate about them, is that they, well, I guess I'm gonna have to actually like look at the lyrics of several albums that come after this, but like at least up to this point, I feel like there hasn't been a lot of compromise on that front, and I do like that is wild to me. That is not a thing that we see very often, and I've mentioned that before, so I'm not going to belabor it too much and talk about other bands, but yeah,
I mean it's literally in the song. There's no middle ground, no compromise.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Neutrality means that you don't really care. Like I mean, these are
that was the line that really got me. Yeah,
yeah. These are like maxims that feel like sort of slogans for this band and what they stand for, which I think is, I don't know, it's why this is a good opening song, because it's got all of the ideas in it.
Yeah, definitely.
After that is Long Forgotten Sons, a song that starts off with like a signature Joe Principi bass riff intro, which he does a couple times in this album, and I always like.
Yes.
But this is already where I start to feel like, oh, they're doing something that's quote unquote radio friendly. They're doing something that is a little slower, a little like, it's the version of Rise Against that I don't like as much. But is this one you liked or struggled with?
This is one I struggled with and still do a little bit. There are a lot of songs on this album where I went, this feels a little too long. And I think this might be one of them. I didn't make a super like noteworthy note about that. But yeah, I don't know. It's incredibly laid back for a second track on a Rise Against album, at least from what we've seen thus far their career. Yeah, I don't know. The chorus is incredibly catchy. Like that's undeniable.
There's like a high guitar riff in it that is one of those things where I was like, oh, I can see what Zach feels like he's adding to the band here in that chorus. Even if it's slow, it's got this like sort of gallop to it that kind of works.
Yeah, that little like partly muted like single string thing that he's doing. Yep. That's like there's not a lot going on there, but like it adds a cool texture that I really like.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe it's Tim playing that. I don't know. In that interview with Ultimate Guitar, he's very much like, Tim is also an incredible guitar player, and I didn't want to step on that. So I don't actually know who's playing which guitar parts, but I'm just guessing there.
Yeah, I think that's always been a thing with Rise Against, though, is that I think Tim, by and large, like at least for himself, writes guitar parts that he can also sing along to. Like I think I don't know that I should say I think a large part of this band's ethos is, playing these songs effectively the way that they will play them live. So like even if he wrote the part, I'm sure Zach is playing it on the record.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think this song has a lot of like kind of cliche lyrics in it. It just literally, I remember listening to this, like popping the CD into my, I don't know, probably like the parents' car when we were driving somewhere or something, or on my boombox for the first time, and just being so excited about the first song and so not excited about the second song, which is a real bummer when you bought a CD for $18, whatever it cost in 2008.
Right.
But yeah, after that is Re-Education Through Labor. Based on what we were talking about earlier, I think you like this song a lot more than me. So you, what do you think? Go for it.
Yeah, I don't like this. I think at the point where I heard this originally, like this was, obviously aside from Collapse, like maybe one of the most like Rise Against-y songs that we get on this record. I don't know, like I think the chorus hits pretty good. That 4 on the floor, like just bass drum, like chant along bridge, like really got me. Like I'm not as hot on it as I used to be. I do think that this song is like still pretty fun live, like especially as like a sing along. But like I don't know, overall, like it's a solid Rise Against song. It's not I don't know that it's a standout Rise Against song, kind of looking at it through the lens of having listened to it for 17 years now.
I think that's like a pretty good summary of it, because I mean, this was the first single from the album. This is how they introduced this record, the sound, to people. I can see whether it was them who picked it or their label who picked it as the single, like listening to it and thinking like, yeah, this is what Rise Against does. And like, I mean, I would prefer to pick a better song as the single, even if it's a little bit of a weird one. But I like, there's two things that I like quite well. Okay, there's really one thing I like quite a lot about this song, which is I like is the bridge that you were talking about, because I like that it sort of changes perspective and makes the narrator kind of takes him from passive to active. I think that's a good writing thing. That gives that bridge a little more punch. But yeah, I don't know. I just this one is it has never been a particular favorite of mine. But it's catchy enough, and so I guess I see why it was a single. But like listening to the album now, I'm like, oh, this is another one of those active rock sounding ones. This is again, who am I to say, because this was a successful single. So like this is going to be a theme on this record, is that I think I want a Rise Against album that would not have
been commercially successful.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, because my tastes are not what was in at the time or what was in now, probably. But I mean, I think this song is like a perfect microcosm of that. It's like it is Rise Against, and it's them doing what works for them. But this is kind of where I think we veer apart in taste, maybe.
Maybe a little bit, yeah. And you know, kind of to the point that we mentioned earlier, it did give them the opportunity to make a very Rise Against video where it is the band intercut with facts about, well, really depressing shit is what we'll sum it up as. Just you know, facts and figures about how many children die from unclean water every year, how many folks we bombed in the last like 5 months or some other span of time. This all sounds really glib, and that's really fucking sad. But like, please know that I mean that there are just a lot of facts presented here, and they are all depressing as hell. And they are all very true. The funniest one is that it has like 23% of the Republicans believe in climate change, and now I'm like, I wish that 23% of Republicans believed in climate change. Like, I feel like it's more like 2.3% now. Yeah, that's exponentially fallen in the last 15 or so years.
Yeah.
But then we get to a I would say a very good one. And I think you would also say that. Yeah,
the Dirt Whispered is probably in my top 5 Rise Against songs. I think this is an incredible song. It was the one that I liked kind of from the beginning on this album, and then when I came back to it sort of years later, even more, it was like, it's almost like a perfect like platonic ideal of a Rise Against, or the pop punk Rise Against that I love so much. Yeah, it's my favorite.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm remembering this correctly, but I do vaguely remember hearing that opening bass riff for the first time and going, "Oh hell yeah!"
Yeah.
My first note on this is, let's praise Joe here if we haven't yet, but we have already. So we're just going to give him one little more prop for writing a kick-ass bass intro for this song.
Yeah, I don't know. This is it's pretty obviously a song about giving your life to the project of being in a touring band, which is always going to be one of my favorite subjects. I like when bands writing about being in bands. It's fun. But I also think this is like a sort of a song about Tim's daughter. I assume that she is like the girl that he is sort of projecting in the beginning of the song and the end, who's sort of like listening to the ground as like an idea of like, oh, how do I connect to my dad who's out on the road? I don't know. I found this song really profound, and also so much fun to sing.
Yeah, there's the part in that second verse where Tim sings, "This postcard says wish you weren't here, but I'd rather I was there." Like the pacing and cadence of that is so like out of step with the rest of the song, but like it works really well, because like it does the cool thing where like we're kind of changing up the pace of the song and then we suddenly change it right back to what it was.
Yeah. Too many words in the line, but it works.
Yeah, it feels like it stands out even among the songs where they've done that before, because it's literally just that one line, and then we're right back into it. And I think that's a really like kind of welcome shakeup in a song that's already like really solid and probably didn't need it, but I think it works really well.
Yeah, it's a great one. This should be like a live staple. I love this song. Next up is Kotov Syndrome. A song about, I guess that references a chess player named Alexander Kotov, who has this idea about if you think too long about making a chess move, then you'll make a hasty, unwise move, which I think is like a good, metaphor for this idea that Rise Against has about like urgency of change, and like we have to make a move now, we have to do something as soon as possible because we are literally like out of time to fix some of the things that are breaking in the world. I think this is a really good song. Another kind of fast, almost pop punk leaning in a way that I like, protest song, similar to the opening track. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, I like this one a lot, and I don't remember it standing out super much to me back in the day, but like now I think it's a huge standout for me at this point. Yeah, lyrically, like pretty dang good. Like yeah, kind of going back to like the core idea of overthinking the solution to a problem and making a bad decision as a result.
Yeah, I mean, this is an Iraq war song, right? Like, there's no other.
I mean, it's an Iraq war song and an every war before and since song, but yes,
yeah.
My dreams are of children orphaned by blood, like that. It is happening literally right now as we talk.
Crosshairs on TV, whatever. Yeah,
but yeah. My one like musical note on this song is the descending like melodic thing on the word control in the chorus is so wild, like, and unexpected. Like, it's not that bonkers, but it just feels like it was such a deliberate choice, and I kind of love it as a result. Like I feel like a different melody would have quote unquote fit better there, but I think that's part of what makes this song stand out so much for me, is that they made a different choice that also really works.
There's like 3 or 4 times on this album that Tim does something with his voice that he has not done on a Rise Against album before. And I don't know if it's a producer choice, Bill Stevenson saying like we should try something different here, if it's Tim wanting to expand his range, more metaphorically than literally. Like that is one of them where I was like, oh, he's doing something cool there. There's a couple others that I'll mention as we get to them.
Yes.
But the other thing I want to call out on the song that's kind of funny is the first line in the bridge, that some things you don't forgive, some things you don't forget. I was like racking my brain this week trying to figure out like, what is that melody from? It's from some other song that I like, and I was going to try to like, is it an Atari song? Is it like an MXPX song? Is it something else that I like? And who, not saying that like it was plagiarized or anything, just like, oh, that's the same melody, and I'm gonna find it. And I played it for Lacey, and it took her all of 1 second to tell me what it was. Do you have any idea what it might be?
I couldn't possibly guess.
It is Taking Back Sunday's Yo Gabba Gabba classic, We All Love Our Pets.
Oh my God, it is.
it's the verse melody of We All Love Our Pets. It's really funny.
That's beautiful. Oh my God.
So, that is funnier than anything that has ever been in a Rise Against song.
I love that.
Yeah, I do too. But yeah, so after that is from Heads Unworthy, another song that I just don't love very much. I kind of like the idea of it. It's a song about revolution. It's a song about like you would rather go through like pain to get to the thing that you to achieve the goal that you want rather than live numb. I think that's like a noble idea to write a song about. I just think this is one of the worst songs on the album.
Yeah, I don't think this one. There are certain bits of the song that I find cool. Like I do really like the contrast between kind of the relatively like laid back most of the instrumental, but then there's this like kind of cool like buzzing guitar line that's like sometimes doubled underneath all that, and like I think that's a cool textural thing. But like other than that, like I don't find much musically interesting about this song. Like I do really like the bridge before the chorus, and I think it would hit a lot harder if the pre-choruses weren't the way that they are. Like I don't know, like this is definitely one of the songs where I was like, this song is too long and it feels too long.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what I would cut from it necessarily.
I would cut it from the album.
I was gonna say I also don't know if it needs to be here. I don't want to quite say mediocre, but it's like bordering on it.
I mean, I think that's fine to say. I think it it is like the kids today would call it mid, like Rise Against song you could imagine at this point. And yeah, this is one of two times on the album where I think they just feel kind of lost as a band. They don't quite know what they're trying to be. And because it's the kind of one of those places where I think trying to be like the biggest rock band, fails them, which is a bummer because like this feels like it's kind of at an important point in the record, and it feels like it should be a better song than it is. Yeah,
like and it almost in a way I'm like, did they know? Because like we get to the end and we get to that. But I'm after you, like the very last like few words of the song, and like Tim almost goes for it on that line, but doesn't quite. And I'm like, and there are other points on the album where he like really leans into a line like that, and I'm like, did you just not want to waste your effort on this song? Like I'm not sure what's going on here.
Yeah, it's a legit misstep, I think.
Yeah, I think I'd agree.
Yeah, unlike the next song, which I really like, The Strength to Go On, this is Rise Against doing the 6/8 thing that I really like, although they switch into 4/4 in the chorus for that kind of like jolting, okay, now you're in a Rise Against song again thing that they do. But it's kind of the classic Rise Against song about remaining true to your ideals no matter what happens, with a great chorus. And what do you think?
Yeah, I really like this one. I don't know if that I would call the shift into 4 jarring. I feel like they really smooth it over between the verses and the choruses. But I don't know. Like I think this is a really well crafted song. Obviously covering some familiar lyrical territory, but doing it well. I did note something about the line. What we know is almost nothing at all, and I just said Op Ivy mentioned. Not every time you say that you don't know anything is an Op Ivy reference, but I'm pretty sure it is supposed to be here. But yeah, I think this is a great song. I think it works really well.
I'm gonna make a case. I'm not that much of an album resequencer typically, but I did. We don't have to go deeply into it, but I did send you yesterday my silly resequencing of this album that drops like all the singles that I don't like and adds a couple of the B-sides. But my big thing is that I honestly think this should be the closer on the album. I think this is the best summation of the attitude they want you to leave this record with. And I also think the closer is terrible, but we'll get to that. So I don't know. I wanted to just add that here so we don't have to talk about my whole resequencing project. But I truly think this should be the closing track on the album.
I think I'd agree with you on that. I think I would want a couple of tweaks musically to like kind of just make the ending hit a little harder, but like overall, like thematically 100%. Like this would be an incredible way to wrap the album.
It's what the album should build to.
Yeah.
Next up is Audience of One. This was the second single from the album, and this is the correct choice. This song rules. It's sort of a song about nostalgia and a song about how like your friends grow up and change and you still want to throw a brick through a wall or whatever. But I don't know. I really like the way that they approach the topic of nostalgia in the song, and also musically I think it's great. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, I think this one mostly works. I did make a note that the intro sounds like it could be a Fall Out Boy song.
I think that's why I like it.
And I think that might be why you like it. I think it totally works. But yeah, I think the song really like hits its stride at the chorus. And that like maybe we've outgrown all the things we once loved line is like a chef's kiss moment. And then like where have they gone coming out of the chorus? Like yeah, I think this is a really well crafted song. That is a little bit more of a swing than some of the other songs we've seen, especially some of the other singles on this record.
I love how the tempo picks up when they do we cruised along at half speed, but then we shifted gears. It's like silly word painting stuff, but I always think that's really cool.
Nah, it's good. I agree on that.
I love the music video for this song.
Yeah, the music video for this song is wild.
Yeah, this like kid with a model town that then just has the band playing on the band shell in the town, which I like. But then he gets an oil derrick for his birthday and puts that in the town, and then the whole place goes to hell with like wars.
Yeah, and then he becomes a conservative shitheel.
Yeah, exactly. And then at the end, his like the generals tuck him into bed, and you realize he's in the White House. I don't know. It's a good, clever idea for a Rise Against music video, even if it isn't really connected to what the song is about.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting to me that like they chose this song to be the. I mean, I guess thematically, it I guess sort of works. I guess if you're thinking about it like really obtusely, but like
sorta.
I feel like this would have worked better for a different song for sure, because like it does like it touches on it again like. Kind of like we were talking about with Collapse, like that video covers like pretty much everything that Rise Against like cares about in terms of social issues. Because like the kid like starts doing deforestation at some point. He tears
he's like
a gay couple
like cutting
apart.
The trees with scissors.
Yeah, literally cutting the trees with scissors. Like rips a man away from his soon to be husband and replaces it with a bride. Just like pretty much every touch point you would think of when you think of American social issues.
Right.
And like, and yeah, I don't know that this is the song for it, but I'm glad they made this video, because it's good.
I agree. Next up is Entertainment. This is another one that you said you really liked early on. So give me your take on it.
Yeah, this one's good. Okay. So this is the last time I will make a comparison to another band. One of my notes is if the last one sounded like Fall Out Boy, this one sounds like MCR, because it kind of does a little bit. They even do the thing where they do a shift into a like not traditionally associated with this band style of music with the pa part at the end, or not at the end,
sounding
but,
thing. Yeah,
exactly. Like I don't know, like the vocal harmonies on this one are super cool. Like I think that the parts that aren't the bridge are like a little maybe more standard Rise Against. So like if this one's not one you're vibing with, that might be why. But I don't know. I think that the bridge is probably like the biggest thing that stands out to me. But we do also get that like big "Can't You See the End" towards the end there that I love personally. I don't know. My notes are bookended by "This is a really good song. Sorry about it."
So I like your enthusiasm about this song because I did not like it when I first heard it. To me, this was like I don't know what it was. I just I don't know. I truly cannot remember why I didn't like the song at first. I like it a fair bit now. Although I think I like it more as an idea than as like song. I don't know. I think the guitars are mixed really loud in this song, which is cool. But the thing that I really like about it, that I kind of zeroed in on as I was listening to it, and why I think it's kind of an important song, is that it's one of the first times that I think Tim is really trying to reconcile his politics with his job. If that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, because I think it's not really a song about like movie stars, celebrity, whatever. But I think it's a song about like about selling your politics to the masses, or having a major conglomerate of gigantic record companies, led by or owned by extraordinarily rich dudes who probably disagree with everything that you say, also be selling your records and pushing you to radio, and you depend on them for your livelihood. And like, I don't know, trying to square that circle is something that they don't really do on their first couple major label albums.
It is whatever your job equivalent is of no ethical consumption under capitalism, like the kind of internal struggle that happens there.
No ethical production under capitalism is like probably the right way to put it. So it's one of those things where it's like I could take or leave this as a Rise Against song, but I love it as an idea, and I think it's essential to the album.
Definitely.
After that is Hero of War, which is, as we mentioned before, the new acoustic ballad. Although obviously it's aiming for a very different kind of mood and feeling than Swing Life Away was.
Yeah, ballad feels like a misnomer, even though it is technically correct.
It is. This song is like, it is, I think, pretty easily like the most divisive Rise Against song. In the documentary, Tim talks about like, I would get emails from like people who served in the Marines, and like, you know, two guys would email me, and they would be like, you know, they would have served like the same number of years in the same places, whatever. And one of them would be like, this is like the best song and the perfect, you know, summation of my time in the military. And the next guy would be like, fuck you, you are evil for writing this song.
Yep.
And I mean, I think that's his response to that is, I think, a really good, like, kind of response, which is like, if you have a problem with this song, then you have a problem with the truth. That he's not trying to sugarcoat anything. He's telling the stories of people that he talked to. And I think that he's a good songwriter. So he's so good that the song feels manipulative to me, but also it like always works. I don't know. I cried twice while listening to this song this week.
Yeah, it's a fucking rough one, dude.
Yeah, it's like, it's at the same. I see it as like, him saying I'm trying to write a really important song here. But like, it also just works. I don't know. I can't criticize it when it makes me like break down every time I hear it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. Like to the point of like being mad about the truth. That reminds me of a thing that I saw earlier today, where this guitarist was writing the interim director of the Kennedy Center, you know, kind of asking questions that other artists had been asking, you know, them about the current state of that place, having either canceled or having had canceled out from under them shows and acts related to, you know, not being straight white men, cis het white men rather, like. And the response from this guy, whose name I can't remember offhand, was like literally the questions were just like, hey, like, these things happened, like, what's going on right now? And his responses were so pithy and shitty, like, oh, well, you just hate literally just, oh, well, you just hate Republicans and you don't want to play for Republicans, and then just like getting worse from there, and like this is a constant theme that I see, you know, just kind of in life in general. Like when presented with like just a straight fact, people will be upset because they think that there's a bent to it that doesn't exist because it's a fact.
The truth has a liberal bias or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. Basically, like whenever you say something is bad, it's because you're criticizing Republicans because you hate Republicans. I'm going to say Republicans one more time for rule of three purposes, I guess.
Don't say that. They'll appear.
Oh, God damn it.
Style.
Right. Anyway, to the point of this song, yeah, I like this song a lot. I think I thought it was a little too on the nose at the time, but I don't think I feel that way anymore, even though it is like it is very explicit in its message. Like it is the most storytelling song that we've gotten, with the possible exception of The Approaching Curve. And I think it's much more effective in that particular area of Rise Against songwriting, or Tim's songwriting in particular. Yeah, like this song hurts every single time. Because like I think this is like maybe touched on a little bit in other Rise Against songs, but this song has empathy for its narrator, like in a way that I don't think people who don't like this song recognize.
Absolutely.
Because like it touches on the, you know, the thing that Thursday was getting at with Friends in the Armed Forces. Like, not everybody joins the army because they want to, and that's just kind of, I'll leave it there for now. And like this narrator undergoes a massive we'll call it a whirlwind of life changes in his time serving, and like comes out the other end of it. I think definitely a changed person, but like has clearly like come out the other end of it going, God, what have I done? As opposed to, hell yeah, man, I made the best friends I ever made, and I'm gonna go enthusiastically recruit for the army now, which is a thing that happens to a lot of people. Especially people who served in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah, well, the is that what they see? Just medals and scars. So damn proud of me. Lyric is sort of it's getting at the same idea of like tokenization that we talked about on with Prayer of the Refugee. Obviously, just for a different group of people, but like the song is, you know, it's absolutely critical of the military, but especially as like the carrots that they use to bring in people who might not feel like they have any other choice in life. And then the, like, I think the intro or the outro, just repeating the intro, is just like, it's cyclical, like, you know, and the people who die or you know are forever changed by what they did, like, is, you know, the military as an institution does not care. They're going to just keep recruiting, keep doing the same thing over and over again. I think it's one of the most effective and simplest protest songs that Tim has written. But then after that is Savior, which is this is like a weird transition, but it's a weird transition on the album. This was a late single from the album, but became like their biggest, most enduring hit. Set a record for weeks on the Billboard Rock chart, which is kind of cool. I didn't know that. It was on the rock chart for like 67 weeks or something like that. And I think it has the distinct honor of being like one of the most successful songs that never hit number one, which is kind of funny. This is, I don't know, it's a breakup song, I guess.
I guess.
My hottest Rise Against take is that I don't like this song very much.
Yeah, it's fine. Like,
it's got a cool guitar lead. Like, I literally just like, and again, this is why I am not a record exec, apparently, is because if I hear like the group of songs from this album, this is like my first cut my second cut after From Heads Unworthy or whatever, maybe Whereabouts Unknown. I don't know. This is immediately in my just like, this goes on the Japanese version or whatever. Like, I don't think this is a great song, but obviously everybody else in the world who likes this band does think it's a great song because it's their biggest hit.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I legitimately, like, I don't think this is a bad song. In fact, I might go so far as to say it's a pretty good song.
Okay, is it a good
Rise Against song? No. Do I get anything out of it? Yeah, the one triplet hit before the bridge rules.
It's good.
That part's sick.
Yeah.
They should have done more of that on this song.
My actual, like, I think kind of interesting question about this song is that what does it say about Rise Against as a band, or maybe about their label or their support, their fans, or the way they've supported their albums or whatever it is, that their biggest hit is a completely unpolitical song?
I don't think it says anything about Rise Against. I think it says a lot about the audience at large,
the industry. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I just think that stuck out to me a ton as I was thinking about this album this week, that I was just like, this is a song that, like, I guess is going to be the song they're remembered by, and it is totally unindicative of what they are as a band.
Yeah, like, I mean, as a person who's as in the pain as we are, like, I feel like I can shoehorn meaning into it. Like, I've tried to approach this song from like a religious bent, which only kind of works because the word savior is used as the title, and also talks about somebody trying to save you. It could be about trying to save you from the inherent dangers of being a revolutionary. I don't think it's about that either. I don't know what it's about. Like, it's about nothing. Like, not nothing, but it does not do anything for me.
Yeah, I'm basically in the same place.
Which I did write that this song is Jimmy Fallon big, as a note.
Yeah, I guess we're just on an island about this one, I think. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll get some hate mail about our takes.
That's fine. Listen, I already complained about this song once on this podcast, so I'm happy to do it again.
I do kind of like the mascot mosh pit in the music video. I think that's fun.
Okay, the music video is wild. Like I want to know who directed that, and I want to talk to them, because it's mental and it makes even less sense than the song, but I kind of like it.
I also need to know if anybody thought the song was going to be as big as it was, because that music video, like you said, it feels very like almost a joke. And the song is like, again, this is track 11 of 13 on the album. Like it's stuck in that like I guess we need to put a few more songs on this album slot, and it's so unlike anything else they've done or would release to kind of like to fit their image. It feels like one of those accidental hits.
Yeah, well, like I mean, even from an album art perspective, like not an album art perspective, from a single art perspective, they made like actual single art for the rest of the singles. This is just a picture from the music video,
yeah,
with their logo and the name of the song written on it.
Yep.
Like yeah, it feels so much like an afterthought that it's wild that it got as big as it did. We should find somebody who really loves this song and interview them.
Yeah, we should. I mean, there obviously are many.
Oh yeah, we could pick a person out of a room and they're probably a fan of this song.
Yeah, but we are not, and this is our podcast, so that's okay. We can move on to Hairline Fracture. This song, I think, has a lot of cool ideas, but I don't know whether they all work together. You got anything on this one? This feels like kind of an afterthought of a song also.
I don't actually know that I do have a lot to say about this song. I thought I was getting something out of it about like kind of nature versus nurture, like, you know, realizing that what you're up against, as they come back to in the chorus many times, is other people who are maybe the way they are because of forces outside of their control.
Yeah.
But those people could also make better choices. Like I don't want to let anybody off the hook for being shitty. But like that's about all I was able to like pull from this, and that I like the bridge a lot on this one.
Yeah, the bridge is good. The chorus has that cool like kind of backing vocal that becomes the lead vocal moment. Like the two lines overlap a little bit that I like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those places on this record where I just kind of feel like they maybe ran out of ideas a little bit. This album ends so strangely after Hero of War to me.
Yeah, it's odd. Like I completely forgot about this song and Whereabouts Unknown. Like,
yeah, well, we should go into Whereabouts Unknown, because this is the one that I'm baffled by this song. It just, one, that it is the closer is weird. It's, to me, this feels like a totally defanged, just like bored version of this band. I thought this was a bonus track for years because it's so uninteresting. At least to me. I don't know. Do you like this one more than I do? I
think I like this one more than you do, but not much.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you know me, I'm a sucker for a field recording, and we start off this song with one, so that's cool. But yeah, I don't know. Like I don't think there's anything like interesting about this song.
Well, so there's one interesting thing, I think. I think the guitar like atmosphere is good. Okay. They talk about in some of the interviews about how Bill Stevenson wanted them to try, they called like soft tones, which is basically like stuff with EBOs or kind of feedback, whatever it is, stuff that's not just like hitting the guitar, basically. Yeah. And there's things going on in this song, especially in the verses, that are like, they're pretty cool sounding. There's one guitar part that sounds almost like Morse code to me, which is cool.
Yeah, like the thing that's like panning in the stereo field, like back and forth. Yeah.
So it's that, but it's just like, I like that stuff, but I just think this song has nothing to say lyrically. And when your last three closing tracks have been as amazing as they are, like it feels like they didn't even try to live up to what a Rising Against closing track should be, which is why I said we should cut this song from the album and put Strength to Go On here. But like, I don't know, it ends this album on such a down note for me, and not in like it's not the way it should end.
Yeah, like like lyrically, I see what they were going for here. Like kind of a friend who's lost their way, and like kind of the one like little thing that I was able to grok from the last song. Like it feels like you've seen the good in this person, and you've also seen them take a turn, and like you want to believe that, like, you know, they can change their mind, become a better person. But like that's one, like, not a major theme of this album. Like I think the thing that we've kind of arrived at thus far is that a Rise Against album closer is at its strongest when it is a culmination of everything that came before it. And that has been the case for 4 albums now, and it falls not there on this one, which is why Strength to Go On is a better closer.
Yeah. Fortunately, there's a bunch of B-sides and bonus tracks that we can talk about.
Many B-sides and bonus tracks.
Most of which are more fun than Whereabouts Unknown. I don't know if we want to go through all of them in detail, but
there are 2 I want to talk about a lot. And you know what those ones are.
But okay, we'll save the 7-inch that they do later. But tell me what are the ones you want to talk about? 1,
Death Blossoms. I like that one a lot. I don't know why that riff sounds so familiar. And I was kind of hoping you could tell me what it was, because I can't figure it out
either.
Okay, great. Hopefully I'll figure it out sometime. Maybe I'll figure it out before I edit this episode, and I'll edit myself in saying what it is. But it sounds so familiar. But I think that song rules pretty hard. I don't know, like, Sight Unseen sounds like it's a Siren Song era song, which feels weird to say now that I'm saying it out loud. But like, you know, it doesn't feel like it fits in this album cycle. It's off a split with a band we're not going to talk about.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I didn't. But yeah, I don't know. There is that one song that's on the Punisher soundtrack. One of the Punisher movies, whichever one came out around this time.
Punisher Warzone.
The
song is called Historia Calamitatum. I think the song's awesome.
Hard song title for sure.
Yeah. It's got a really, really catchy chorus. And it's in that like, it's really wordy, it's fast, it's leaning a little more towards the pop punk mode of Rise Against that I like. This was an immediate, like, this should have been on the album song for me. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's good.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, this feels like it could have fit on the album, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Elective Amnesia, I think, is kind of similar. The problem with this song is that it has such a good chorus that they hide for like 2 minutes before they get to it.
Yeah. Like, I literally have Turns Into a Rise Against song halfway through written down as a note on this song.
Once it's there and the, like, first a spark, then a flame, now a fire, we explode. Like, that's good.
That's good.
That chorus could have been the lead single of this album if it was in a better song. Yeah, that's my quick take on that. Those are like what I kind of consider like the proper like sessions of this album, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Everything else is kind of like odds and ends. There's a cover of Tour Song by Jawbreaker. It's an acoustic cover, which is fine, I guess.
Yeah, Tim was playing out on like the Revival tour with Chuck Reagan when he was on that tour. It's cool.
There is, I think, a profoundly bad cover of Making Christmas from the Nightmare Before Christmas Revisited compilation.
It's something.
Maybe without the vocals it would be good. I don't think Tim sounds good on it one bit.
Tim's laugh on it is very good. I'll give him that. That's all I can give it.
Yeah. They did a cover of Sliver by Nirvana for the AV Club Undercover series, which made me ask the question, should anyone cover Nirvana? I think the answer is no.
That was such a weird pull for a Nirvana song too. Like, obviously they didn't choose that was the Nirvana song that was on the list. But what a wild pull for.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do a Nirvana. I forget. I don't know how they picked them back in the day. I think it might have just been AV Club staff. And like, I could see a band doing an interesting take on that song, and like, I think the Rise Against cover is fine mostly, but like, it's not interesting by any stretch of the imagination. Like, they don't do anything weird with it, and like Tim kind of says going in, like, yeah, I don't know, like, we're a heavy band. They're one of the heavier bands on this list, but also the lyrics are just kind of goofy as fuck and like don't have a weird twist at all that you would kind of expect.
Yeah. I don't know. None of these covers I think are like that interesting. What is interesting is so in 2009, I guess a year or so after this album came out, they went back to Fat Records and put out a 7-inch with 2 songs, Grammatizator, and Voice of Dissent, which feels like they heard the criticism of this album as too pop, too soft, whatever, and they went and said, okay, fine, we'll put out a record on an EP on Fat that shows that we have still got it and can still go really, really hard.
They did
it. Like, truly, I didn't know I had not heard these songs before this week, and I did not know they had this in them at this point in their career.
Troy, that's beautiful. I love that for you.
Grammatizator is so good.
It's so good. That like just literally the song just starts off with like this gnarly feedback. Like it makes you do a power frown immediately, and then you get that Joe Principi bass, and then you get Tim screaming, "We celebrate the devil with ticker tape parades," and it's so good.
That song rules. If they ever played that one live,
I don't think I've ever seen them play it live. I hope they've played it live though. We're gonna once again. I'm still on set list, so I'm gonna check now. Let's see. Never, according to that website.
I didn't see any interviews about like why they did this 7-inch, if this was like a favor to Fat Mike or something. But like, I'm glad that they did. It's a good thing that this exists. Truly after this album and after like my very cool initial reception of it, like this felt like it punched me in the chest and revived my interest in this band immediately. I can totally see how that would like hit any old school fan at this point. Be like, it's like a lifeline. Like, we've still got it. Don't abandon us yet until the next album, maybe.
But yeah, Voice of Dissent is a Circle Pit song, and it absolutely crushes. Like there's not much more to say about that song. Like these songs are both like 2 minutes long, and they feel like they have left more of an impression on me than like 80% of Appeal to Reason did, initially at least.
That's really not how you want your fans to, you want the good stuff on the album, but
I know. And it's not, again, like I kind of looking back, like I still have a lot of criticism of this album, but I do think that I feel better about more of the album than I did in 2008. But I still feel exactly the same about this 7-inch, which is it's a 10. And I'm very glad that it exists.
Man, it's funny. Like I started this episode being like, I'm pretty positive on this album now, and I think I feel the same way after talking about it as I do after listening to it. It's that I think the end is so messy. The last like 3 songs are such a mess to me that like it makes it feel bad. I don't know. You got to end your album strong. I guess that's the thing. People say about movies, like the most important scenes in the movie are the first scene and the last scene, because those are what people are going to remember. And I kind of feel like that's true about an album. Like, your first song and your last song and maybe like your big single or whatever, if it's in the middle, are kind of the most important points. And I feel like Rise Against got, at least one of those really right, arguably 2. And then the third one, the end is just, it's not up to snuff on this album, and so I think it which is why I had my little resequencing idea.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And like I don't think that, and I think that it's important that like that better closer exists on this album, unlike with Rilo Kiley when we did our redo of that album. But you
got to find it in the B-sides collection.
Yeah, you got to dig it up. And then sing it with Haley Williams at an event in LA, and it's beautiful.
It is true. We're running a little long, so we should. I want to say one more thing about this album is that I think it's the best mixed Rise Against album. I think it is. It sounds immaculate on good speakers.
You really hear everything on this album, and it all sounds good.
Yeah, even the songs I don't like, I can admit, are produced and mixed extremely well. Not that like that's a shocking take when it was mixed by Chris Lord-Alge, but I just wanted to add that towards the end here.
Totally. that's a valid thing to say out loud.
Yeah. But we should do some random recommendations. What do you have this week?
I'm gonna do another movie. I feel like I've been doing a lot of those lately. And again, it's because I saw it in a theater and it was affecting, we'll say. I'm gonna recommend. Yeah, movie's good, especially if you see them in 4K. And it's a Hayao Miyazaki film, and it's Princess Mononoke.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm not gonna belabor this one because I feel like I went super long on the Iron Giant last week. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's one of the most downer Miyazaki movies. And it hits harder than ever in 2025. I think by the time people hear this, it will have long since been done with its like 4K redo theatrical run. But if you get a chance to see this one in theaters, highly recommend it. It's a truly beautiful film. All of Miyazaki's films are. But I went in thinking that my like pithy little Letterboxd review was going to be lol 4K Kodama butts. And then it was just, oh my God, this made me think really hard about the state that we're collectively in right now. It made me feel worse than this album does about climate change. So,
I was going to say that is the kind of the rise against of movies.
It really is. It pairs very well with this series that we're doing right now. And I would say maybe especially with this album, especially like, you know, given how much it leans into talking about our potential and likely future. But
maybe they should have recommended that in the liner notes instead of Fahrenheit 451 or whatever.
Yeah, that sounds great. If you like Rise Against, go watch Princess Mononoke.
Or sorry, Fahrenheit 9/11. I will not besmirch Ray Bradbury.
Yeah, no, Ray Bradbury, good. I listen. I saw Fahrenheit 9/11 in a theater too, so I can't tell anybody what to do. What do you have, Troy?
I'm going to recommend a podcast by a fellow Chicagoan named Brie Maloney. She has a podcast called In the Key of Brie, which is an interview show where she interviews musicians or music independent people about their history as music fans and their tastes and albums they love. It is a wonderful, fun podcast. She's a great interviewer. The guests have been great. Some mutual friends on there. Mario from Bottom Bracket was on the latest episode. It's just really fun. Highly recommended. Probably a better podcast than ours. But that's my self-esteem talking.
Well, I haven't listened to it, so I can't confirm or deny that. So I think our podcast is very good, to be clear, though.
I think we're all right. But yeah, In the Key of Brie, great podcast. Check it out.
I will check it out. I have not listened to it yet, but that sounds awesome.
Cool. We will be back next week talking about Endgame, not the Avengers movie, but the next Rise Against album. In the meantime, find us on the internet on noisefloorpodcast.com or noisefloorpod on Instagram. And see you soon.
See you soon.